Hello, Internet! Welcome back to episode 2 of That Random Podcast Show. That show where everything is random and the points don't matter. Also, the points are chickens. Delicious, delicious chickens. But the chickens don't matter. We're here to talk about general pop culture stuff. How's it going? I already said that. What is wrong with me? Oh yeah, wait, we're recording this late at night. This is going to be fun, folks. I'm Tyler Chancey, your host, and General Patisserie. I don't know what that means. I just made it sound like it was French. And my co-host, who's somewhere in the corner, is Michael. How you doing, man?
My goodness, that's a heck of an intro, man. Yeah, I had a Zelda joke waiting, but that's fine too.
That random podcast show, ladies and gentlemen. We improvise. It's like Drew Carey on Whose Line Is It Anyway, except we try to be funny.
And unlike Drew Carey, we actually fail at it. So,
Aww.
he'll succeed at it. We'll continue to fail and try to live up to nobody's standards whatsoever.
The ability of Drew Carey is mighty, but let's all confess to the greatness that is Wayne Brady.
I'm Wayne Brady.
The level of energy that guy has. He could be stuttering and reaching for a joke in a musical song, and yet you'll listen and you'll think to yourself, I want to buy an album of this. Wayne Brady's greatest improvised hits, including such great hits as that song where he sung about Polynesian women, and that other song where he talked about using a cheese grater in a spy movie. And let's not forget that amazing, timeless hit, horribly dated song about voting for McGovern.
I thought you were gonna say MacGyver.
oh my gosh, MacGyver, freaking.
I thought you were about to say.
It's funny you bring up MacGyver because one of the most surreal things happened to me recently. For those of you who are new to the podcast or may know me a bit more from the Game Bit podcast, where Jared keeps squashing my creative freedom as a pen and paper RPG enthusiast, I actually have a thing where every day every weekend I go out and hang out with a bunch of friends, and we have a bunch of RPG systems, a bunch of character sheets, a bunch of dice, and we just role play for several hours just at a buddy's home, and we just have a fun time. But this is something that bears repeating. I was recently learning the system for Vampire the Masquerade for Halloween. I think I mentioned this before on the Game Bit podcast last we recorded. And I was looking over my tablet with it. We were at a different store, and we somehow caught the premiere episode of the reboot of MacGyver on one of the network channels, and it's amazing. It slowly went from our friends talking casually about RPG mechanics and how to balance for player input, and suddenly we gravitated towards the screen because it was such a beautiful train wreck. We were tearing it apart. Suddenly we went from being just a bunch of guys hanging out to TV snobs. Okay, the camera work is bad there, the stunt work is really bad there. Okay, the bit with the paperclip is all right, and hello, made-for-television explosion. Look how cheap and silly this is.
I don't have TV, so I didn't get the pleasure of experiencing such a glorious event.
It was very underwhelming because when most people think of MacGyver, what do they mostly think of? He's an old soldier guy that is able to improvise crazy contraptions and escape routes out of small things, and he's kind of a badass. We see this climax where he's in this helicopter, and they basically had a thing where he cut away from him with his parachute and some stuff, and then cut away later, and suddenly he has this totally changed thing completely. He somehow managed to do 15, 30 minutes of work in 2 seconds. There wasn't even any time dilation. I'm like, what's going on? And then he proceeded to get his butt handed to him by one randomized mook, as opposed to the villain they were kind of building up as being kind of an evil version of himself because she learned from him. And I'm like, oh, hey, that's kind of a cool angle. And now we're going to undercut the hero at this point. And also, it's modern day, so he came out of the Iraq War, and so everything is vaguely Middle Eastern terrorist-flavored nonsense. And is it really weird if I'm getting a little too, I don't know, exhausted with that aesthetic?
Probably.
I know.
I'm just gonna go with probably. I don't know.
You don't know me.
I don't know what you've watched. I don't know the
I
things you've seen.
I have seen some things, man, but unfortunately, we're trying to keep this not explicit, so we're going to have to say that for another time. Tune in, folks.
Right. Well, since we're on the tune of reboots, there's a certain trailer that came out. I think it has something to do with those Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Sorry. Sorry, about that. We're trying to be professional here. Oh my god!
Well, then I guess I'll go first, seeing how you're all, yeah, I guess happy-go-lucky about it.
You
Yeah,
know what? You go ahead and say that. I'm gonna mute myself and just full blown freak out. Go ahead. Go ahead.
the new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie, which is going to be a little darker and a little hopefully silly. Hopefully it gets a little silly, but yeah. But from what we've seen, it's going to be a lot darker. A lot of people say it is. Well, what was that movie? Chronicles mixed with The Breakfast Club, which I never liked The
Sorry.
Breakfast Club, but we'll talk about that some other time.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I'm
Right.
back.
So,
I'm back.
are you-
It's okay. It's totally fine.
is,
I'm cool now.
is that out of your system? Are you okay now?
It's out of my system, but I'm gonna have to get myself a new door.
Hollywood doesn't know how to do a teaser anymore. Their teaser is a minute and a half, 2 minute trailer. So
They're also very cookie cutter. There's always cold open, piano music, a sweeping pan, fade in, fade out, line of dialogue, characters, another piano chord, logo. I know it's very obvious because there is actual full-blown studios now that specialize in cutting trailers, but that's a topic for another time. And
Oh.
and the topic is going to involve Suicide Squad and how much they messed that up. Shots fired!
Well, I mean, just real quick, I actually liked Suicide Squad. I thought it was a lot.
Heresy!
Yeah, I know, man, but I thought it was actually pretty fun. I'm actually kind of glad there wasn't a whole lot of Jared Leto's Joker in there because he was honestly pretty weak. Although I wouldn't see him do
Yeah.
this character because some of the actual members of Suicide Squad had no personality or quality to them.
I heard Will Smith was okay as Deadshot, and Margot Robbie was a pretty good Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of hard to mess up Harley, but yeah, it was their show.
Yeah.
It was their movie.
I also heard Jai Courtney was actually pretty funny as Captain Boomerang.
Well, I mean, the little parts they gave him, he didn't do much. Like,
It was like one part where they like take like the bomb collars off, and someone was like, "Okay, you can do what you want." He says, "Okay," and he just bolts and leaves.
yeah, I mean, he has small moments, but man, they didn't give him enough to do. Killer Croc didn't have enough to do.
Killer Croc. You mean Token?
I mean, pretty much. Like,
How does that sound?
you got this giant monster on your team, and his one scene that he gets, it's murky, and you don't even get to see him do anything really.
Yeah,
So
it's redonk.
yeah,
But
a lot of the members, other than Harley Quinn and Deadshot, are wasted.
all right, so okay, sorry guys, deviations upon deviations, but
Yes, why you
for,
fanboy?
first things first, let's kind of maybe clarify a bit our history with the Hayam Saban's mega franchise of the Power Rangers. Michael, you go first. I think I made my stance pretty clear.
I mean, I was just like everybody else who heard about the Power Rangers, who grew up with it. I was a kid who, saw it on Saturday morning, saw it after school. Like, I was a big Power Ranger fan. Had the toys, watched the TV show. Got
Oh yeah.
super excited with the first Power Ranger movie. It was a show to it was the show. It was the show to watch. Like,
Oh my gosh.
you didn't. It was pretty much.
It felt epic at the time because there really wasn't that much else on television. There was live action battles
Probably
against.
probably not for you, but for me, there were plenty of cartoons on that I loved and I
No,
enjoyed.
no. Cartoons is one thing. This was live action. These were people in suits
Oh, well,
doing acrobatic kung fu and
I mean-
fighting monsters and finding monsters. That was that was the
Yeah.
coolest thing ever for me.
I mean, it was pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
without even knowing it, that was kind of like my first real interaction with like kaiju cinema or kaiju genre because
I wouldn't say it's kaiju. It's closer to
Well-
tokusatsu, which is its whole subgenre. tokusatsu technically.
Well, I mean, because really, my favorite part of the Power Rangers were the giant, where the monsters got giant. So
Make my monster grow, assemble
yeah,
the Megazord,
yeah.
yeah, fight over what's clearly not a model city of not Tokyo.
Oh man, I thought it was awesome though. Like that was my first. Like I've seen Godzilla before, and but I wasn't a really big Godzilla fan. But with Power Rangers, that was my first real
Oh
like
yeah.
kaiju, kaiju like thing. And that was a
Oh, the
thing that
giant robots and the monsters.
oh.
Oh yeah.
I was always into robots. But then, like, what little kid back in the '90s wasn't into robots?
Oh
But
yeah.
but yeah, like that was my first true I
Introduction.
love big monster kind of thing. Like that's what got me into it. So of course when
Really?
Pacific Rim happened, I was all
Oh
about
my
it.
god.
I was like, oh, so this is what Power Rangers would look like if it was made today. Like
Pacific
for
Rim
adults.
doesn't get enough love, folks.
It doesn't.
Pacific Rim is great. It is cheese upon cheese. I mean, come on. Come on. Charlie Day and Mako Mori have this sort of mind meld thing, and they use it to fight giant Godzilla monsters and a giant robot. What's not to love? Also, Idris Elba in that amazing "Tonight We're Canceling the Apocalypse"
Oh,
monologue.
that
That
was yeah. I'm
that
pretty sure
pumps me up.
that was the Independence Day level of man. This is going to be on everybody's top 10 quote of movies list things for a long time.
I quote it myself every now and then. Usually when I'm playing like a game of XCOM and I have a critical hit while I'm in a mech.
Oh
You
god.
know? I'm like, come on! Tonight we're canceling the apocalypse! Punch!
Oh
Rip
man.
the alien out!
But yeah, Power Rangers was the show that my brothers and I like lived and breathed. We wanted to be
Oh,
the
yeah.
Green Ranger, the Red Ranger, the Black
Everybody
Ranger,
wanted to be the
Blue
green.
Ranger.
Yep.
Yeah, when the
Oh my
White Ranger
gosh.
happened, that was the thing. We loved the Zords. We loved the Megazord. We loved the monsters. We loved Lord
Oh,
Zed.
yeah.
Like,
Oh
oh
my
man,
gosh, Zed! Lord Zed, that design, that villain!
that was the creepiest thing I've ever seen on TV, and yet I
Oh my
thought he
gosh!
was the
It was
coolest
really
looking villain.
it was messed up for a kids show. I mean, there was like exposed muscle. He had those tubes and everything, and
Yeah,
the grate on the face. But
he looked evil. He looked like a real bad guy. He looked like somebody who wanted to destroy the world because
oh yeah,
I have the power to do it, so why not? Like
oh
he
my
looked
gosh,
evil.
he was scary. And the only thing that stopped him was five teenagers with attitude that were getting directions from a wizard whose head was in a jar. But
Hey, don't forget the quirky sidekick little robot.
voiced by Richard Horowitz. Hey, how's it going? But
But,
yes, that's right. That's right, people. Invader Zim is the voice of Alpha 5. Did I just blow your mind?
but
but
yeah,
but
with the way
having said,
what's up? Yeah, go ahead.
oh, it's just that we are very nostalgic about this series. We obviously big cards on the table. We bought the action figures, we bought the toys, we bought the Megazord things. I actually had like this fun like Megazord where you can have like these little what's the word I'm looking for? Attachments, so you can kind of customize the Megazord for more monster busting. It was the phenomenon of the '90s. But what is really fun to me though is seeing the series again on Netflix and looking back on it. Here's the power of nostalgia, folks.
Still great.
As a kid, it was the most amazing thing imaginable because, as I kind of said before, they usually had some episodic sort of stuff, like Monster of the Week sort of stuff, but then they actually had these really long, drawn-out, like, very intense storylines of, like, the Green Ranger and him losing his powers, and, it felt like a legitimate, like, epic of heroes fighting evil, but then you kind of come back to it, and you see how cheesy and cheap it is.
Oh, you mean how awesome it still is? Pretty sure,
No, no,
pretty sure you
no,
mixing
no,
your
no,
words. No,
no,
it's still awesome. Go back and watch it now. It's still awesome.
I'm not gonna lie. That's actually one of the bigger things I'm gonna have to say. I'm ripping my own nostalgia goggles off because it's cheesy, it's cheap looking, it's kind of phony looking.
And that's what makes it
However,
great.
however, you didn't let me finish. However,
Oh man.
it is the charm. It is the absolute unabashed charm of it that I still think makes it hold up. Seriously, I have gone way too used to, in modern parlance at the very least, modern pop culture mindset of characters having to be brooding or have to be flawed or have to be something, broken in order to, give some sort of sympathy to, which is a thing to have. But then you go back to the main five of Power Rangers. These are freaking Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts trying to get into sainthood, and they're fighting evil because it's the right thing to do, and it's exactly the kind of, moralizing that you kind of need at that young age. And it's great that they, kept to that. And also, there's clearly a charm there because the series is still going.
Yeah,
They're still making them. Like, funny thing, here's how great it was at one point. I did kind of drop out of Power Rangers around Turbo because that's where... Great. Oh yeah, Turbo was awful. Yeah. There was a lot of dissonance. Like, the series they adapted from was actually supposed to be a parody series. It was based off of Car Ranger in Japan, which was basically a huge sort of joke at the franchise. The bad guys were going to take over cars cars of the world in order to have them rise up against their human masters because cars are the greatest power in the universe. I am not joking. And the team is a bunch of mechanics. They get power from a wizard in order to save cars because cars are precious, and they use highway safety to make sure cars stay on Earth because cars are our friends. I am not joking.
So in other words, it beat Fast and the Furious to TV before Fast and Furious was designed for the theater. Got it.
No, I'm not. No. Here's the thing, though. Fast and Furious, enjoys racing. We're talking cars. Like, suddenly, cars rebel against their masters. A tricycle bucks a kid off and flies through the air. That's how dumb we're talking. If it has more than...
we got cars from Disney Pixar.
We have more than two wheels. You are sentient, and you can just take off. And Saban got it and thought, you know what? Let's try to make this a serious story with serious characters without changing the footage we got. And everybody kind of knows it didn't work. But here's the thing. I stopped for a while. Then around middle school, I heard about Power Rangers Time Force. And
it's kind of cool.
I loved Time Force. That's what kind of pulled me back into it, honestly. And ever since then, I still have kind of a love for the franchise. Even now, I mean, I mentioned Chroma Squad on GameBit Podcast, which is basically a create your own Power Ranger team RPG. You can pick it up on GOG or Steam. It's really fun. It's getting a port to the PlayStation platforms, but we haven't heard about that for a while. So yeah, that's usually kind of when I think of Power Rangers. It's cheesy, it's silly, but it is so freaking endearing and so action-packed you don't mind. Now, which is why it was kind of unusual to see the trailer of Power Rangers. This new 2017 film reboot of my childhood nostalgia. I mean, you kind of said so yourself, Michael. It feels like they're kind of going for a grittier, more grounded, I think is the proper phrase to go for, trailer for it. Because, as I mentioned before, they seem to be taking hints from Chronicle, which was a kind of okay found footage movie about a bunch of teenagers that get superpowers and they screw around with the superpowers and then stuff kind of elevates from there. And you mentioned The Breakfast Club, because they seem to have the main cast, the people that become the Power Rangers, basically wind up in detention, and that's how they become friends. I'm actually kind of okay with this change, because it's one of the funniest things I did whenever I actually ran a Sentai campaign for pen and paper systems with my friends, some of which had no real basis or real love for the Power Rangers franchise. And so when it came to me basically doing the Teenagers with Attitude setup, they went Teenagers with Attitude. They actually did stuff that broke so many of the conventions. They beat up the bullies that mess with them. Yep, not having none of this. They play hooky from school. They said screw you to authority. I'm like, no. These are Teenagers with Attitude. Over emotional and chaotic. I'm like, no, this kind of fits.
See, I'm all right. First of all, I did like the trailer, and I'm excited for this new Power Rangers. I kind of like the direction they're going with it. It does seem like, okay, if teenagers of today found these powers, it kind of feels like, they go crazy with it. But
they did. There was a lot of restraint. They could have easily just showed a lot of destruction porn with the Megazords and just said, check this out,
Yeah, it might go the Transformers route. I mean, I kind of hope it doesn't, but it might
I
go a
really,
Transformer route.
I really hope it doesn't because, as you said, the teaser kind of sets up this tone. Like, it's really weird because I remember people kept saying how they wanted to make it darker. I don't get dark from this. I
I
mean,
kind of do
for
because
for,
of
for,
the
for,
way.
for, for most of until like the last like 20-25 seconds, then it kind of had that edge,
I
you
mean,
know?
because again, it did remind people of Chronicles, and we know how.
Oh yeah, Chronicle just went full blown holy crud.
Yeah, it went south pretty quick.
Yeah.
Not in the bad way, like the way it was filmed, but like the story wise.
Oh,
Uh, and
oh yeah.
and from the way the trailer looks, once Rita gets involved, maybe it'll be a little more serious. Like we
Yeah,
see them like kind of mess around with their powers just a little bit, questioning the powers and like how they're going to use it or what they're going to do with it.
which is kind of nice. I mean, I kind of miss that. It seems like they got these gems instead of morphers, which basically gives them latent superpowers before they get into the suits.
Yeah,
I'm actually kind of okay with that. I mean,
not me, because it kind of ruins what made Power Rangers so special. Was that
oh
these
yeah,
was like
it's like
the original Power Rangers, they were already efficient in the way they can fight, in their style, in the way that they did things. They already took martial arts as a way of self discipline or as a way of
oh
it
my
just looks
gosh,
kind of cool.
they did so many things. They worked at the juice bar. They did martial arts. They did charity events. They did schoolwork. They also,
Yeah, but
yeah,
I mean
they're
these
all over the
kids. Yeah,
place.
these kids didn't have to be that way, and I hope they don't do it that way. And from the way
Of
this trailer
course
look,
not.
they're not gonna go that route. But it would have been nice if it was kind of like, okay, these are some kids who knew MMA, maybe they knew Muay Thai, maybe they knew karate, maybe they know,
Krav Maga or something.
yeah, maybe they have different styles and they know different ways. Maybe the suit amplifies their skills of being able to use of their skills and their strength and their speed, which would have been fine. Instead of just like, yep, all of a sudden here you go, superpowers because you touched a strange rock. It's like,
Well,
come on,
for
that's it's
no, the way the trailer is paced, though, it looks like the powers slowly kind of manifest, like they're
right,
getting
right,
used to it.
right. But I don't,
Which,
I don't like that because you saw how the Power Rangers were able to fight both in and out of the suits, and that's what you and that's what made them great. Was like, okay, even without the suits, they can still fight and win. And this new one,
it's just that, yeah, I get that. I get that. So you feel as if they're overblowing what didn't need to be touched,
yeah,
but
they robbed them of something that could have made them already like likable, cool characters.
having said that, I do kind of like that they do have sort of a almost reluctant hero kind of thing going from, because it reminds me of the pilot of the original Mighty Morphin, because frankly, it's one of the funnier things I like about the first episode of that series. They get teleported to the command center. They meet Zordon. It's like, hello, I'm a wizard in a jar. There's an evil witch on the moon that's sending monsters to destroy the planet. Here, take these things. You have superpowers now. You're superheroes. Go save the world. And they're like, get out. So they leave, and then they
Yeah,
get
and in this one,
and they get attacked. And I'm like, okay.
yeah, and in this one, and it's the reason why I don't like the point that they have powers growing gradually.
It's civilian powers. They started doing that in some of the more recent series, and I kind of agree. It does kind of cheapen the spectacle of whenever they morph, because there's a clear power change. Like
Yeah,
civilian, they're impressive, they're amazing, but then they morph and they're like, holy crap, they're
like they can.
lifting cars. They're lifting cars with one hand and moving at the speed of bullet speed.
Right, right. You actually believe that they've gotten like this great boost. With this,
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, we can do all the same things, only now we have alien suits. It's like, oh, that's great. Like you robbed
Oh
them.
yeah.
What, you
Oh yeah. The
robbed.
suit designs. Those suit designs, like I kind of like the last shot where they're like where the suits are slowly morphing around them. We're like, what's going on? And they're like surrounded. I'm like, I kind of like how it's done, but I do think the suits are a bit overdone.
I kind of like the suits. I'm not gonna lie. It took me a minute to get used to them. At first, I thought they looked kind of dumb,
Yeah.
but it's yeah. I've gotten used to it. It looks fine. I just I really hope they do like an actual morph rather than just it's Iron Man slipped on
Oh my
kind of
gosh.
thing.
Oh my gosh. No, absolutely not. Like, I actually have to kind of once again cite a level of my Power Rangers nerdity, so to speak. Um, as many of the original cast members as possible actually showed up at a local convention in Harrisburg, and I actually attended. It was very first Harrisburg Comic Con. I went there, and I got a chance to actually meet I actually got a chance to meet the original Red, Blue, and Black Ranger, Walter Jones, David Yost, and Austin St. John. And I attended a Q&A when they asked Q&A about the original show. For the record, they're amazing. They're awesome people. Though seriously, look them up. They have done great things even after the show has gone off the air. And I'm not talking about acting. Like, Austin St. John is one of the coolest, like, search and rescue operatives imaginable. David actually has a sort of anti-hate campaign against LGBT people. Really cool people. But one of the funnest things I love about the panel is that it ended it with the entire with the cast getting together and doing the old "It's Morphin' Time" pose and battle cry, and it was pumped up, and I'm like, please let a new generation get that rush. don't cheapen that.
Yeah, I hope they do it in the movie. I know it'll probably look silly, but
No, that's what I'm trying to get at, though. It's silly, but it's Power Rangers. It's kind of silly,
yeah,
but it's so straight faced with it.
Yeah, you can still do the morphing and have it be some modernized thing. They don't have to do a bunch of poses, but I want to see it. I want to see each character individually just morph into their suit rather than just
Tyrannosaurus, Saber-toothed tiger, Mastodon.
I don't even know if they're going with the dinosaurs. Like, the concept. I see some concept art of it.
That was another controversy I saw where there are posters of the team in, I guess, like standing on their swords, but they're not in profile, so you can't see the robots at all.
Yeah. So like, I don't know what theme they're going with here. See, there's a lot of stuff. Like, I guess that's what we consider teasers. Like, oh, you see the characters, you see Rita for like 2 seconds, and you almost see the suits, despite the point that we've already shown you what the suits look like.
Having said that, though, you said teasing is always good, but when it comes to the 2-3 seconds of Rita Repulsa I saw, it actually justified one of the more drastic changes they did, because once again, the original's Rita Repulsa kind of had a cackling Wicked Witch of the West kind of feel to her, and she had like a cadre of people, like, she had Finster that made the monsters out of putty, and she gave them life. She had her bumbling,
Putty monsters are great.
Yeah. She had her bumbling, subordinates, Squat, Babu, Goldar, the one guy that actually was competent, and and she always had this sort of cackling, I shall get you next time, whole thing. But when I saw the design for the new Rita Repulsa, I'm like, okay, you're not keeping her cast. Apparently, she's no longer a moon witch, and they seem to be going for like the more modern sort of, almost like modern, like high, like dark fantasy kind of look to her. And I'm like. And apparently she'll just create the monsters herself. I'm like, okay, how is that scary? And then you see the trailer where she's like hovering over one of the cast members, like asleep, and she's like, I've killed Rangers before. I'm like, oh, we're going this route.
Okay, so this is going to be the one thing you and I disagree on. I still don't like the new Rita.
Really?
Yeah, don't like the design. Don't like the point that they're making her just...
She comes off more as a deliberate force of nature than part of an evil cabal, and if they play that right, I think it would actually be an interesting sort of take on things.
But I wanted her to be like the old, not complete like the old Rita, because it was overdone, like everything in that show.
Oh my gosh, that shriek! After a while, your ears would just slowly bleed, but you wouldn't care.
Right, but what I wanted from the newer Rita was for her to still seem kind of mentally unhinged. Like, she didn't have to be full-blown, like, evil wicked witch cackling like in the original show.
Make my monster grow!
Yeah, but I still want her to be kind of like, just a little crazy. And instead of like this slow, maniacal, generic villainess. I'm like, oh, geez, this is what we're going to do. She knows what the Rangers look like, so I'm going to question why she doesn't just go after them and their families.
Yeah, having said that, that's actually one thing that does kind of bother me. It's one of the major sort of plot holes of Power Rangers that I'm going to punch through, because it's kind of obvious that Rita Repulsa could have easily kind of already knows who the Rangers are, because she does some pretty petty stuff. To which I'm like, okay, why doesn't she just send a monster and just have them crush their homes and kill their loved ones and just break the morale. I'm like, first of all, it's a kid's show, and that's too dark, you sick son of a gun. And two, it kind of ruins this sort of odd pacing it has with it, which is why this new Rita I'm actually kind of like because come on, just the line "I've killed Rangers before." It sells a whole lot that she has a history with Bryan Cranston Zordon didn't show up in the trailer, which I'm actually going to say is a good thing because I guess everybody would just kind of say, "Hey, it's Walter White," and kind of ruin it. But it feels a lot more like she's been around for thousands of years, and she makes a habit out of destroying heroes, and that's a lot more dangerous. And the very fact she's right above the people's like, I know who you are, I know who you love, and I will mess you up, that's a lot more threatening to me. That's a lot more threatening than anything else they could have done beforehand. So I'd say it's a risk, but I'm hoping it's a risk that pays off.
Hopefully, she also has one of those pendants with her. Somebody pointed out that she has a green stone.
Oh yeah, possibly. See, because Saban is very obviously wants to kind of do their own sort of like take on the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I mean, everybody does.
Yeah, everybody wants to do the shared universe thing. I mean, Universal tried doing with the monster movie stuff with Dracula Untold, and it kind of fell apart.
Wait, you don't think like there's gonna be like another character that's introduced but doesn't get the powers, but at the end helps the Rangers and earns his way as the Green Ranger?
Dude, they can do whatever the heck they want,
I'm calling it. I'm calling. That's going to happen. There's going to be another member that doesn't actually become a Power Ranger until close to the end, where he helps the Rangers beat Rita, and he earns his Green Ranger.
You know what? I don't care. I don't care as long as they have at least a cameo by some members of the original cast, like I don't know, Amy Jo Johnson or the original Bulk and Skull and whatever the heck the equivalent of the Juice Bar is. I don't know. They're going to do the Juice Bar, just have him show up in some capacity, just like a cameo.
What was his name? Oh man, he played the White Ranger for a while.
Jason David Frank.
Yes, he still shows. I don't know if he still shows up in the shows, but he's
the last time he was there, it was for the Power Rangers Super Megaforce series when they were doing the 20th anniversary sort of celebration. Other than that,
he was like a teacher who.
That was earlier. That was Dino Thunder.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure it was later than that.
No.
I know he came back and he was a ranger for a while.
He was the Black Ranger at Dino Thunder. Then they fast forwarded a while, like they came back as the White Ranger for the 20th anniversary thing, but it was like a 5-second cameo at best. But
yeah,
but
which I still found kind of fun because I hadn't watched Power Rangers in years, and coming back, and I think my cousin was watching it. My young cousin was watching it, and I was like, oh man,
it's only you.
This. And
then
I saw him
out.
pop up, and I was like, I know that guy. Oh man! And then he transformed. I was like, what? No, he's still a Ranger? This is awesome. I think my cousin looked at me like, yo, man, you're too old for this. What's wrong with you?
Shut up!
And I was like, yo, kid. Oh, I didn't know Power Rangers was still legit. That's what's up.
you were afraid that the series was kind of said like, okay, just keep making money. We don't care anymore. It's like, no.
I didn't mind because like Power Rangers, the point that it's still popular really says something about the staying power of that franchise. So doing a live action movie makes sense. And doing it the way they're doing it makes sense because they somehow keep finding a way to grab the newer generation and pulling them into Power Rangers. And it seems with this one, not only are they going to try to grab, or they're going to continue grabbing the newer generation, but they're also going to try to capture the older generation, and by reintroducing some of the newer Rangers, not really even in a reboot. Like this isn't even really a reboot to me. This is more like just like the other generation
alternate
of Power
universe,
Rangers.
if you will.
Yeah, it's just another generation of Power Rangers, and
it's Elseworld. It's in a different time, a different place.
Yeah, and it's obvious that this is the kind of movie that's going to try and grab both old and current fans of Power Rangers. Well, probably even trying to pull in some new ones.
Honestly, in this kind of markets, you kind of have to. I mean, it's cynical marketing, synergy, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you have to do it in a lazy, contrived, cynical manner.
Yeah, but I mean, at least Power Rangers is doing that. It looks like they're actually trying.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing that we kind of said before about this teaser. It's restrained.
Yeah, like it doesn't look like something they just threw together. It's like, hey, we got Power Rangers, we got the rights to it. Let's make a movie because
Look at all this. Look at all these explosions. Look at all this kung fu. Look at all this stuff. Look at Rita. Look at all these Zords. Look at all this.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh!
like the Ninja Turtles did it. We can do live action movies too. It's like no, they've been talking about doing a Power Rangers movie for a while, and it shows that they've actually took some time. It's like what makes Power Rangers cool? What's new? How does the modern market look now? And
it looks like they're actually, yeah, it looks like they're trying to make it, as legit as possible because making it look good, not good in a bad way. Because you try watching the last time they did a movie adaptation of Power Rangers with Ivan Ooze, and it is the stuff of Riff Trax fame. I mean, I'm sorry, I cannot hear that Ivan Ooze line and not crack up. What is that odious stench? Smells like teenagers.
Hey man, teenagers have a specific smell, all right. Their bodies are changing.
So,
they're
oh my gosh, you're making Ivan Ooze seem more and more like a creeper. Can we?
I mean, did you see the hairstyle he had going on and the facial hair and?
He had no facial hair. He was like a weird tentacle Cthulhuoid monster.
Was he? Are you sure he didn't have like this weird purple beard?
No, it was like a weird tentacle face beard thing.
Okay, well, man, I mean, I can show that Ooze still resides in my mind, but not completely, but just enough. So there you go, kids. The Power Rangers stuck with you, so
they will stick with you like the odious stench of teenagers.
And it gets no better the older you get, kids.
It's funny I bring up Power Rangers and the like because I did hear that they're kind of doing a sort of side scroller beat 'em up game.
No, that thing looks horrendous.
Here's something that's strange though. The cutscenes look like Photoshop 101 with the stuff. It looks really cheap. But then I look at the gameplay.
Oh,
the animation on the Rangers looks kind of okay. It looks like a pretty simple arcade beat 'em up.
Dude, no, it looks like something that should be on the iPhone. And they're like, yo, you know what? We can make some real money off of this. Put it on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. It's like, no, this is something that will probably run on the original Xbox and PS2. There's no real need.
I'll withhold my judgment because for me the gold standard is still the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game on the SNES. But
yeah,
that's me.
And it still looked better.
But it's funny I bring that up though because I was also at a hobby store with a friend of mine. I'm trying to get him into Force of Will. It's basically not Magic the Gathering, not Yu-Gi-Oh. Long story short, and we deviated to a GameStop to pick up promo codes for the new Volcanion download for whatever reason. And I've noticed that Lego Dimensions started selling this brand new like massive level pack for Ghostbusters 2016. And it hit me like, oh yeah, that reboot also came out recently and came out on digital and Blu-ray. And that's how we do a very contrived segue to keep to a theme, ladies and gentlemen. Ghostbusters 2016. The dust has settled. The arguments have flown. People have kind of accepted that it existed.
Have they? I mean, I don't think they've accepted anything.
I know we're gonna butt heads, Michael, but frankly, I saw it in theaters and I actually had a fun time only because my mantra before the movie started was it's not going to be the original, it's not going to be the original, it's not going to be the original, and I did as best as possible to detach. And even then, I'm like, this was actually a decent comedy thing. I'm like, I'm fine with this. And it's funny because I still know a bunch of people who were like, oh my gosh. It is the worst thing imaginable. It destroyed my childhood. It wiped the memory of my very adolescence from my mind. I must kill them with fire and say horrible things to women and harass women for no apparent reason and... People. Ladies. Gentlemen. Horrible, malformed creatures of the internet that think they can masquerade as human beings. It's just an okay comedy. Michael?
Oh, I mean, hey man, that was one heck of a way of just saying, yeah, I thought it was decent.
No, really, no, really, that's basically a microcosm of how the marketing for that movie went. The trailer came out, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, it's terrible! Oh my gosh, why are they remaking Ghostbusters? Oh my gosh!"
I was one of them. I was one of the people when I saw it. I was like, I'm gonna give it a fair chance because really, when I saw Ghostbusters, I was pretty young, and I was like, oh, this is a fun movie, mostly because it had Bill Murray in it, and
Bill Murray is always fun to watch.
Yeah, Bill Murray.
Well, except for Garfield, but that wasn't really his fault. But moving on.
I even enjoyed Garfield. The first
Heresy.
one. The first one. Come on, it's a comic book. I mean, it's a movie based on a comic strip about a cat who complains about Mondays eating lasagnas, and borderline animal abuses his friend named Odie. And his owner, and he emotionally abuses his owner. So
lasagnas, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, lasagnas plural is lasagnas now.
Did I say lasagnas?
You said lasagnas.
Did I? Oh, well, lasagna. So it doesn't matter. Anyway,
grammar.
I didn't know you were a third grade grammar teacher.
A wild grammar Nazi has appeared.
But I was one of those people when it came down to the Ghostbusters, like, oh well, this movie it looks lame. It looks the first trailer was horrible, unfunny, oddly cut. The timing was weird on it, with all the jokes. So that was I blamed it on editing for the trailer because there's no way the jokes are falling this flat. So the first trailer honestly was just bad.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
That's one of the weird things I still remember when the first trailer came out for me. I'm actually a defender of the movie, for the record. When I saw the trailer, I'm like, yeah, the CGI doesn't look that good. I do agree with what you said with the cutting and the jokes, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of blah. But then I looked at discussions, and all people could talk about was, oh dear me, why did they make it an all-female cast? And they just left it at that. They didn't mention anything about the shot composition of the CGI or anything else, and I'm like, I guess that was the thing. Staying away.
Yeah, that was the thing everybody focused on. But really, if you didn't like this movie when we saw the trailer, it's because you were a sexist. But
shots fired.
No, I mean that's what a lot of people thought. It's like, oh, you don't like it, you're a sexist. It's because it's all females. But some people like myself and like yourself were like, no, it was just a bad trailer. A lot of them, they want to hear it. It's like, well, you just don't like it because it was females. No.
You're secretly sexist. Yeah, you don't want this movie to succeed because glass ceiling. I'm like, really?
Yeah, it's like, no, it was just a bad trailer. But as more of the marketing went on, that's when I noticed it was going to be a bad movie because Sony had no idea how to market that movie.
That's the biggest thing I will say about this movie as a whole. The marketing campaign was terrible.
It was awful. Just completely awful.
It was ridiculous. All the worst jokes in the movie, they put center stage.
Over and over again. It's like, wow, you're not selling a comedy. You had to sell a comedy movie based on the comedy. And from what I see, it's not going to be funny whatsoever. So why should I watch your movie?
Yeah. Like I said, it was just weird and just very off-putting. And then I remember they kind of leaned into the feminist stuff and just kind of, fought fire with gasoline to a certain extent.
The movie as a whole, it didn't do it like I joked about that I was joking that it would. But there were a few things in there I was like, come on, you can't go around calling every person who didn't like the movie like sexist idiots and whatnot, and then turn around and pretty much do the same thing in your movie.
Yeah, as I said, the marketing was bad, and I really think that somebody in Sony's marketing department should have been fired.
They shouldn't be fired. It was obvious that they saw this and were like, "Whoa, I don't know how to sell this." Like,
you're a marketing person. You have to know how to market this. I would say no excuses.
Well, seeing how you and I both seen this movie, even I can see why Sony had such a hard time marketing this movie. It's poorly written. Oddly edited, nicely shot. I will give it that. There are some pretty cool shots in there.
I will agree with you on it being oddly edited, especially when it came from the second act going into the third act. It was just very jarring what they did, but it shot very well. But this is something I will have to contest you with. I don't think the writing of it was necessarily bad. It's just kind of safe, if that makes any sense. Like you
It,
can you can follow the logic of how things kind of go from point to point to point, but then when they try to contrive a joke, it feels forced. But whenever the jokes naturally come, it's fine. It's whenever they reach that problems kind of come up. Like, you know what, guys? Statute of limitations. There's a weird part where
well, actually, I don't think. Well, the movie it came out on digital, but I think it won't come out
I'll keep it
on
vague
Blu-ray
then.
and DVD yet until the 11th.
I'll keep it vague then. It's around the point around the second act of the movie where the Ghostbusters kind of discover more ghosts and footage gets out to the press, and they bring in a character that kind of says, "Oh, it's debunked." They basically kind of sort of not really went back to the well and kind of did a Walter Peck, so to speak, but not exactly the same thing as Walter Peck because Peck was kind of a product of the time, 80s EPA, Reagan. They couldn't do the same thing again, and they brought in a particular cameo of a character, and they basically it felt like it didn't go anywhere. It was like, okay, we're gonna debunk this, and then hey, look, wacky gag, and then they just drop that whole thread and continue. And that's where I think it kind of messes up. Like sometimes it reaches for jokes, whereas the original was kind of natural with how it delivered its comedy.
Okay,
But
yeah, okay. See, and that's where I think it was poorly written. Back where you were saying like how what with the cameo and how they just like dropped that whole plot line. They did that multiple times in the movie. Like the beginning, where the reason all this even kind of sort of happened was because a book on Amazon, and that was quickly dropped.
I wouldn't say it got quickly dropped. I'd say it started off of the storyline of the two characters trying to sort of regain their friendship again. It's just the execution was off
Oh, it
because of
was
the
bad.
editing.
Yeah, you know, I kind of want to say it was editing, but they never really bring it up. Like that's the problem. Like if it's part of the story, they should kind of bring it up and like, oh, this is why this
Yeah,
character is mad, and this is why it's taking a while to build up. But no, it's kind of like, yep, all right, we have them back together, which we didn't even need a reason to separate them. And
it really is weird. It's weird. But having said that, once again, I'm a defender of the movie. When it actually kind of gets into its own rhythm, it's actually a lot of fun. Like I
it's
actually,
kind of too late for that. When it does, it's a
uh,
little it's on and off. Like
Holtzman. I'm sorry, I'm one of those people that really liked Kate McKinnon as Gillian Holtzman.
man, that
Almost all of her lines got me laughing. I'm
and
sorry.
she was such a wasted character.
Hey
I liked
guys,
her.
hey guys, this is exactly how I thought I was going to die. That had me on the ground.
Oh man, she had a cool look to her. She had a cool personality.
She was. Oh, that's actually one of the things I will say is actually a big kind of mark against Ghostbusters 2016. I like the characters. I like the new cast. I like the new Busters.
I
I
like,
like their personalities. I like their chemistry. The movie doesn't really know how to use them all that well.
yeah, and again, I blame it on the writing. I blame it on the script. It gave them nothing, next to nothing to do.
I mean, Paul Feig, when he's on, he's good when it comes to his comedies with Bridesmaids, but Ghostbusters is also kind of a supernatural action movie, and it feels like he's a little bit out of his element with that.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when it came down to actually busting ghosts, you can tell they should have just found a different director and probably even a better writer
Yeah,
because
it was kind of stunted. But like I said, like it's kind of weak, but at the same time, it could have been a hell of a lot worse.
and honestly, it could have been a lot
I know,
better. It
I know that's damning with faint praise. It's just that the minute everybody kind of heard Ghostbusters was getting an all-female remake, it sounded like it was going to be the most pandering crap imaginable.
honestly,
Like,
people were upset when they found out that Sony was doing another Ghostbusters without the original cast in general. So even if
you
you
really
made it,
can't though anymore.
yeah, even if you made it all males, people would have still given it crap. They would have been like,
They would have kept comparing it
yeah,
to the originals. Like, he's not Venkman, he's not Egon, he's not Ray. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. They're just gonna compare him to the other ones. Like, oh, he doesn't look like this. This character wasn't like that. He doesn't have the
and
personality of Bill
and
Murray. It was
that's
just gonna go on. So it wouldn't matter if you got all male or all female anyway.
which is why I really do think it's a testament to the movie that the new cast actually do stand up on their own. Like, I like Patty. I like
If the movie allowed them to, the movie kept doing callbacks to the original and even had a couple of reshots. Oh, like, well, I would say reshots, but like
a couple of
copied
additional characters
shots.
kind of pop in.
Yeah, it had a few shots in there. I was like, yeah, you're really making it like, hey, remember the original Ghostbusters? It's like, why not just be your own Ghostbusters?
Yeah, and
you
that
easily could have done that.
it really felt like they reshot it out of fear because of the backlash, which I think is a bit of a problem, honestly. Because I don't like it whenever fan outrage forces somebody to change. I mean, on the one hand, if they felt like if the creators themselves didn't think it was going to work and wasn't really, convicted, had enough conviction to keep to it, they feel free to change it for artistic reasons. But it feels more like they caved and tried to pander, and I feel like that may have had a problem with it, and that's that's one of the sad things I don't like about when it comes to internet outrage culture. I mean, this is the internet. We have so much connection with people. Like, seriously, the very fact we're even having this podcast at all, we're in totally different time zones in the same continent, and we're able to do this sort of stuff. And yet, people will somehow find a way to somehow combine their hatred together into an amalgamated mass, and then it becomes form. It looks a bit like Gollum, but with glowing red eyes, and it drips blood all the time, and occasionally mutters horrible things under its breath, and they just sick it on people, and it's just ridiculous and crazy, and it's unwieldy. It's like opening the box of unholy terror, and they don't know how to shut it because people can't follow directions anymore, and it becomes horrible. And give me a sec, I gotta write this down. This sounds like a great setup for a superhero thing I want to do. Ladies and
Ghostbusters, which honestly, it's watchable, it's tolerable.
yeah, exactly.
Man,
it's fine. It was perfectly fine, and like seriously, we had stuff we liked in it. Like, I actually kind of liked how they utilized Slimer. I liked how they kind of made him a bit more of a hooligan. I liked Holtzman. No, really, I liked that. I liked Holtzman as
oh no, I was talking
not.
about Slimer.
I liked Holtzman as not necessarily Egon, but kind of a manic, crazy person. No, I liked Slimer.
She needed more screen time. Like, forget the two leading ladies that they had. They needed
I
more
heard
of
there's
her
an
and
extended
Patty.
cut. I heard there's an extended cut that's also out somewhere, and I'm
not wasting my time with that.
I'm actually curious, honestly. I'm actually curious as to what exactly Paul Feig cut out due to one reason or another. But then again, that's how I feel about most movies. But usually whenever it's done, it's them trying to, like, save face off of a bad movie. And other times, it's used to say, hey, don't worry, we explain everything you need to know in this version of the movie. Freaking Suicide Squad getting extended cut. Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. What the heck is this, people? Sorry, we keep going back to DC. It's a bad habit.
Who's we?
Well, me and I. We are together. We are one. We are parts of one whole consciousness. Join us, Michael. Join us.
No,
Join us.
I'm okay. One of us. One of us.
This is what happens whenever October rolls around, people. This happens all the time.
You know what else?
It's always like this.
You know what else rolled around?
What?
Mafia 3.
Oh.
Yes. And it should roll right back to where it came from and come back in a couple months.
It says a lot that right now, in terms of major releases of the video game industry, Mafia 3 is kind of on a pedestal right now, and they kind of want to be on the pedestal. They want to go back, touch up on their makeup a bit more.
Because the game is unfinished. It is... Wow. It is unfinished. Even with the 2.6 gig patch that it had, the game is unfinished. It needs to go back into the oven. It's not done cooking yet. It's not ready for release. It is not ready for prime time.
Oh, don't worry about it.
It's not ready to be played.
Oh, no, don't worry about it. This is the game industry. They'll just patch it later and apologize, and they'll promise it'll get fixed in the season pass.
Yeah, no. All right, so have you played Mafia 3 yet?
I have not, but my only experience with it was Mafia 2 back on the last console generation, and I thought that was actually a very, very linear, very scripted experience. But I liked the storyline it was telling, and I liked how it was guided, even if the gameplay was very by the numbers decent. And I feel
Oh, go ahead.
And something tells me Mafia 3 is going to be more of that, and I'm okay with that, but I don't think that's something I want to personally invest time into just yet.
It needs to go back to that scripted linear kind of thing because while yeah the choices and whatnot are kind of cool to have, you can tell that the team is not used to making some open world action game, because one, the game is kind of ugly to look at. Let's get the little stuff out of the way. It's ugly to look at. The textures are awful. Uh, Everything pops in and out constantly. Frame rate is inconsistent. The graphics itself is inconsistent. One moment it looks like a muddled mess, and the next it smooths itself out for like five
You need to,
seconds.
no, you need to understand, Michael. We need to have the frame rate at the rate of a PowerPoint slideshow because we need to make it more cinematic.
It's not even a Ubisoft excuse. It's not even on that level. Like
Cinematic,
it's so weird.
cinematic.
Uh, oh man, how can I explain it without actually like ruining the game? Because it's actually
It's too
actually
late.
a
Too
somewhat fun
late.
game.
Too late. The developers kind of already ruined it from what you've been telling me.
Jeez, the game needs more time. Within less than an hour of playing the game crashed on me once.
Oh dear.
Yeah. AI seems pretty decent. Again, textures and whatnot, all that pops in and out. The controls of the vehicles is pretty stiff, which is kind of weird seeing how apparently they learned their lesson in Mafia 2, after Mafia 1, and made improvements in Mafia 2. Oh jeez, what else? Clay is actually, he's not a bad character. I
I
like
actually heard.
I like the way they're trying to tell the story, which is kind of
Yeah,
like
I
this,
heard it's
this
good.
live slash documentary kind of thing they got going on. So that's actually kind of cool. It's a great way to tell the story. It's just too bad, like they put more time in the cutscene than the actual game.
I actually heard that they actually seem to be kind of going a bit more with their themes of racism and bigotry in a much more direct manner. Because there was actually a piece I saw somewhere where apparently the developers of Deus Ex Mankind Divided played, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you actually went one step further than we did when it came to mechanical apartheid in Mankind Divided," and whoa, bravo.
I mean, it's nothing significant, but really it's just they kept language that was used back in the '60s
In a derogatory sense towards, yeah,
towards anybody that's not white. Honestly, they called Asians by certain words. They called
they
blacks by
call
certain words.
Irish people certain words.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and when you first start the game, which by the way, I cannot remember the last time a game took so long just to get to the title screen so you can press A to start the game.
Really?
Oh my goodness, a couple logos is fine, but there's the logo. There's another
Oh dear.
logo, and then I'm not
This,
joking.
this
I'm not joking with you. There's a timer that counts down. While it's like, this is the symbol that comes up when your game is saving, and in the back there's a 5 second clock that ticks down before it moves on to the next splash screen.
You gotta be kidding me.
Oh no.
This sounds like the game equivalent of that Family Guy sketch where Peter Griffin goes to a movie theater and he just keeps getting production company titles.
That's
It's
what it feels like. It's and you gotta go through that every time you boot up the game. So it's like God. And
2K Games present in association with hot dogs and burgers and this off-brand beer and Doritos and this falafel place that we ate at one time and this catering company that gave us a discount
hey man,
while we were making the game
you're,
and this
you're joking right
thing.
now, but no, it takes a good 30 seconds for you to get the title screen to press start. But,
I'm joking only a little bit, man. That's
no. You're joking about it until you start playing, and you're like, "Oh, can I start playing? No. Oh, can I skip this? No. Okay,
can,
well,
can
whatever.
I,
I'll sit here.
Aw.
I'll go make breakfast while I wait."
Oh dear me.
And unlike most games, when you first put in the disc or you start downloading it, it says your game is ready to start. I wait until the game was at 63% before I started the game. So like, okay, that's enough for me to at least do the first couple of missions.
Let me guess. Installed levels out of order.
Oh my goodness, yes.
I think that's more of an issue with the Xbox One because I've seen that happen with other games that were installed on the console. Like I saw that happen when Battlefield Hardline was put in and
Ugh.
Battleborn. Like a bunch of discs do this. Like I don't have an Xbox One personally, but keep seeing guys who like use it. Like one guy popped in a disc of Battlefield Hardline because he wanted to try it out. The disc was there, and it got like 50%. And when he hit start, it dumped him into like mission 6 of the single player campaign, and the multiplayer was like. And the multiplayer was like 75% done, and there was like no priority at all to the installation.
And I think it's going to happen throughout the rest of the generation. The thing
It
took
seems
me
more,
63%, but I popped in the games like installation 53%. It's like, well,
hon-
I'm going to come
honestly,
back
I don't.
later.
Honestly, I don't get that from my PS4. I don't have that problem. It's as far as I can tell, it seems to be just an odd quirk of the Xbox One.
Yeah, I think it's weird because I don't actually start my games while they're still
It's
loading
downloading.
while it's still loading on the PS4. I don't really do that, but with Xbox for some reason I do it because I like to like jump right in there and start playing.
Well, when it comes to the PlayStation 4, they don't do what the Xbox One does. They do something that I think is a bit more of a dick move because it says like it's ready to play. You hit start. You get to the tutorial. You get to the part where you have control, and then suddenly a message pops up and says, "Please wait. The rest of the game isn't finished installing yet."
Yeah, it's real tempting
I'm like,
to do it. Yeah,
it's like,
it's real
what?
tempting.
Why did you do this? You took apparently 83% of the game is the opening 10 seconds. I'm being silly.
Yeah, you're joking, but you know what? It's the truth. I mean,
It is sadly the truth.
you
But
get 70-80%, and all you've got downloaded was like maybe a tutorial that shows you how to play the game, and it's like cool. Wait, while we load up the first mission, it's like why? You should be done. You should be like almost done.
there
whole
should
thing.
be priority installing. Okay, speaking of bad games that kind of have delusions of being movies, I heard about the final Resident Evil movie coming out. It's gonna be the last one. It's gonna be the legit for reals, no take backs. Who's real one? We need to find out what the heck happens to Mila Jovovich.
Who cares? That's my
Yeah.
That's my Who cares? I stopped watching the Resident Evil movies after number 2. I don't know. I don't remember what order it was in. But the first one was decent.
Yeah.
And after that, I was like, yeah, no, I don't care. Like it's almost as bad as those Underworld movies.
So you're trying to tell me that Mila Jovovich shooting zombies and looking hot doesn't do it for you? That's not enough to sell a movie for you?
No, that's not what I watch it for. I watch it because I'm thinking, oh, cool. Maybe now this movie will actually do something with the T virus, with a story that actually makes some sense. But no,
You and I both know Resident Evil is at its best when it's just crazy and nonsensical.
I mean, even before they did that whole nonsensical nonsense, when they got up to Resident Evil 4, the story in that game is so muddled now. Like
Yeah, seriously. It's like I was working for you, but I actually was working for this other person, which worked out for this other person, but it's actually a shell company that's controlled by big bad guy Wesker because reasons.
Yeah, the storyline has gotten so convoluted, it's ridiculous. That
It's
Capcom, they actually released while they're advertising Biohazard 7.
Yep.
They actually released a timeline again. They've done
Yep.
they've done this before. They released another timeline updated with chronicles and all this other stuff that they previously released, just to let you know all the events that happened, but it doesn't really explain the
It's
daggone
Umbrella's
story.
fault. It's Umbrella's fault. It's Umbrella's fault. Ensure global saturation. Virus makes evil mutants take over the world, destroy the world. It's textbook bad writing, but I kind of like how they keep to it.
Ooh, I think something you and I were talking about before is that franchise problem. You were complaining about it with Ubisoft.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about this, which why I didn't record that, I don't know, but yeah, I did kind of bring this up. It's like they didn't let it be its own thing. They had to make a sequel. They had to make spin-offs. They had to expand things even more, but they didn't really do much else with the gameplay. I mean, they did some changes.
No, not just the gameplay. The gameplay was fine. Like they made changes that need to be made. My issue is with the nonsense, convoluted. We don't know where we're going with this story.
Like seriously, Chris Redfield goes from, as far as I can tell from the timeline, he goes from average Joe who survives the first 10 minutes of a horror movie to beefcake that can make a physicist cry by punching boulders.
The boulder puncher.
Boom!
That's gonna be his name. That should be his name from now on. It should be the Boulder.
The Boulder.
The Boulder. That should be his name for now.
Darn it!
Every fan should now just coin him as the Boulder.
you do realize now I want this like final movie to be whoever they have cast as Chris Redfield, because I heard they like added in Chris and Jill and Wesker later on in the movies. Whoever they have as Chris, I say screw it, screw that guy. I don't know, pay him double his salary, whatever. Get him off the script. Bring in old man Schwarzenegger, put him in the suit, and just go like it's like, so you're Chris Redfield. They call me the Boulder, and just have a weird, set piece where he like punches a boulder and it flies and it blows up and it takes out a bunch of evil tentacle monster things. I don't know.
I would accept him. I would accept if they just brought in some muscle bound WWE wrestler and just allowed him to just be the Boulder and let him do whatever. It's like, man, you're big, you got muscles. Congratulations, you're the new Chris Redfield.
You know something, Wesker? You may be impressive, but I know one star's agent that could take you down, and his name is John Cena!
I will accept that. I will accept John Cena as Chris Redfield being the Boulder. I will accept this. It's not like anything else in this story makes sense.
That's one thing I can't say about the Resident Evil movies. They have like no connection at all to the games other than the monster design.
Which is why people actually like it, because like, once you get past the point that no, it's not like the game at all, you're like, okay, whatever. Go off and do your own silly thing, and that's the reason why I stopped watching it. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh man, Resident Evil is the worst thing that ever happened. Oh, it deviated from the games.
The truly serious and well told and intricate and culturally precious mythology that is the Resident Evil games.
Resident Evil and their well paced, well documented story. Yeah, that's the game. The movie actually did itself a favor by going off and doing this whole thing, and then the movie, not the movie, but the game followed suit. After Resident Evil 4, they're like, man, those movies are great. Which somebody at Capcom actually like.
Let's devour our own tails. Let's Ouroboros ourselves. We can see any way this could go wrong.
Might as well. They like the movie. Like, man, that's what we should be doing with our games. And then what happened? We get
that
Resident
actually
Evil
explains
5 and 6.
That actually explains it. Resident Evil 6 was originally directed joined by Michael Bay and Takeshi Miike, and they said, let's make this a game and throw everything and the kitchen sink at it.
If it was Michael Bay, it would have been better paced. And that's saying something. That's actually saying the Resident Evil 6 would have been better paced if Michael Bay
so glad I didn't. I am so glad I didn't touch 6. I had to muscle through Resident Evil 5 with a buddy of mine because I was not going to deal with AI derp face Sheva.
I like Sheva. I hope Sheva comes back.
I liked her design. I liked her attitude, but her AI was terrible.
Her AI, the whole game's AI was. The only AI that worked was a couple of the monsters that like.
Some of the boss battles were pretty fun.
Yeah, they were until you started punching boulders, but whatever. We kicked that zombie in the face.
Complete global saturation, Chris. Complete global saturation of a franchise that won't die, and we're kind of wishing it did.
Until you get that ridiculous Umbrella Corps 2 game, nobody's asking for.
Oh dear me! Don't tell me that's actually a thing.
I mean, it's not a thing, but
it better not be a thing.
It'll be a thing. Umbrella Corps 2, even more esports than ever.
Oh yeah, totally. They're gonna just market the unique selling point that if you crouch and go prone, you'll move at the speed of the Flash, and you can brain people with that ice pick even faster. Because that's what we want nowadays from our esports: people humping the ground at lightning speed and killing people with picks. T-virus. Get this down, people.
It's just a T-virus. There you go. There's your explanation. T-virus.
That's right. The T-virus makes you hump floors at the speed of light. There we go. We solved Resident Evil for you.
Yeah. I mean. You want to pick locks? T-virus.
Master of unlocking. T-virus approved.
You want to be able to shoot a pistol close to your eyeball? T-virus. Because, the way that guy was holding that gun is ridiculous, but whatever.
But he did bring up pacing, and he did kind of bring up different sort of adaptations that have been doing pretty well. Let's talk a bit about Netflix. Some of the more recent stuff that's been coming out and has been making the rounds. Anybody?
I think there was only two things we were going to talk about, because they were the two things we actually sort of watch, and one of them, people, I actually enjoyed a lot. Actually, I enjoyed both the things we're going to talk about. Actually, you know what? We can't talk about Luke Cage.
Neither can I.
Okay, good,
Be-
because I haven't finished it.
I have
Because
not finished it either. I'm only. How many episodes are you in?
I'm 2 episodes in before
I'm
I had
four.
to leave my business trip.
I'm 3 episodes in. Hey, we
Ah,
can talk about our first impressions.
yay, it's good.
I'm actually interested. I really do enjoy. The setup is good. On the whole, pretty good. I like they brought back Mike Coulter back as Luke Cage. I loved his presence in Jessica Jones.
Hmm.
I
I mean, I'm liking the character so far.
Yeah.
A villain that's actually likable. Cottonmouth
Oh
is actually a likable villain.
oh my gosh, Cottonmouth. He actually makes that sleazy, kind of, gangster that knows what he's doing. He makes it look cool
Oh
somehow.
man, yeah, he does. Like,
He's got style,
yeah, like
I mean, come on, he's got that awesome R&B club. He's got that really awesome painting of Biggie. Is it Biggie
yeah,
Smalls?
it's Biggie Small. Seriously,
Yeah.
that shot. No matter how many times I see it, that is still one of the best shots I've ever seen.
Over his profile, like covers the painting and but the crown is
Yes.
poking out, and
Yeah, like
yeah.
everybody wants to be king. Like that shot. I love shots like that. I'm a sucker for those kind of shots. Like where you can
And
blend two layers together that with so much with ease.
the
I'm a sucker.
cinematographer needs to be given a high five and a pay raise. That was
Oh
great.
man, just the direction they're going in general with this movie is great. Well, I mean, with this
That's
TV
the
show
thing,
is
though.
great.
Yeah, yeah. It's Netflix. It's like Netflix. It's like it's HBO, but seriously, Netflix has kind of become almost like HBO with the way they handle things now. Like treat every episode like its own self-contained movie, and if it's MA, enjoy the R rating stuff you can get away with.
Which
I
I'm
mean,
glad they don't push to the point where it's like, oh, well, we can do like Game of Thrones and have like, or do like
uh,
Spartacus and have like
oh
body
gosh.
parts all over the place. Like, no,
I, I,
that just means now we can break teeth, we can break
my
bones, and
my only experience with seeing Spartacus, I think, was a Robot Chicken sketch where they kind of parodied how ultra violent the movie was, the series was, where they had like a baby like recently birthed from their mother suddenly pick up a sword and like have this elaborate choreographed battle with the dad, and he's like still like covered in birth, and he's like just fighting him like, what the heck? What is this? And then he
cut too
like
far
kills his
off.
and he like kills his father, and it's even more blood. And then it's like the mother's like, "I shall now raise you. Now you have earned your place in this world." Like, what the?
It's not far from it. Spartacus was super violent,
Yeah.
and it was great until it dragged on.
Oh yeah. Game of Thrones. Meanwhile, I do kind of get the comparison. Like Game of Thrones is like lots of talking, lots of political intrigue, and oh hey, look, nudity. Oh hey, there's like 5 seconds of nudity in every episode. Hey, how's it going? Yes, we're
Yeah,
HBO.
it's like
And then they have like one episode where it's like this blowout of violence and crazy.
yeah, but I'm glad Luke Cage doesn't go that route just because they can. Instead, it actually focuses
It
on
it makes the
characters and
it makes the violence pop though. That's what I like about it's that restraint. Like this is one thing it's a good through line throughout all the Netflix shows. Honestly, like Daredevil is a bit sleazier if you ask me, but they focus on characters and character drama. But when the action hits, it is brutal. You actually have to kind of like look away with some of the hits.
and
And
I
then
think it's because I think it's like you said because they're unrestrained. It's because we're on Netflix. This is a streaming site.
when it
We
comes to
can we
standards,
don't have to.
they have no restraints. Yeah, when it comes to standards, they have restraints. They don't have as many restraints as HBO. But when it comes to direction, they don't take that as a blank check to do whatever. There's discipline there.
Right. There's actually they have creativity, and it's like okay, well we know what we're doing with this, especially since it's Marvel. They're like okay, we know what we're doing with this property. We know what we want to do. Let's go
Oh
out
yeah,
and do it. And Netflix will be like, yep, here you go. Let's do it. Let's make something great. And then
yeah,
they,
yeah,
they
like
go beyond just a regular TV show. Like some of the stuff that Marvel and Netflix has made looks way better than the stuff you see on cable TV. Is because they're
oh
not
my
they're not
goodness.
they're not they're not wrapped up in what they can and can't do. Like any CG that they need, they don't overblow it and just have CG all over the place like they would in the movie. Instead, they have okay
I
one or
do.
two shots of
Yeah.
CG, but we can
It
still do more.
it's a simple conceit, because it's a simple conceit they're doing because these characters are supposed to be much more grounded street level people that do have some superhero ability. And I do like they're keeping it restrained, and I think that's part of the discipline. Like, what was the most gruesome thing that happened in season 1 of Daredevil? I think it was the scene where, like, the Kingpin, like, basically beheads a guy with a car door.
Hmm.
It was,
Is that
I
the
mean,
most violent scene? Like, is
well,
that
there,
the most
well,
violence?
there was the other one where the guy like shoved his skull through a metal spike or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what got kind of bad. Jessica Jones had a lot of you got to be kidding me stuff that went down with it. I mean, David Tennant with his mind whammy powers, but Jessica Jones was a bit more about PTSD and survival of an abuser, so everything was a bit more psychological, but still scary in its own right, different flavor of it. But then you get to like Luke Cage, and it's like not even like episode 2, I think, where you see Cottonmouth like beat a guy to death with his bare hands, and the blood's like spraying him, and he's just like, I don't care. This is an average Tuesday. He just wipes it off, and it just goes on. That's scary.
Oh yeah, like Cottonmouth. There's a true blue villain. Like calculated,
Villain,
is not afraid
calculated.
to get
Yeah.
his own hands dirty, and
Oh yeah.
and does business. I think that's the biggest thing about him is
He's a criminal. He's trying to go legit. He actually has like an agenda. He has
not
something.
even like going legit. Like he knows what he's doing is criminal, but he's doing it in a sense of a businessman.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like
There's nothing more dangerous than a businessman because they have the money to have anything happen to you. You don't want to cross them, and if they
nope.
want to, and like, they don't have to kill you. They can just buy out your business, buy out something around you, and like close in on you. They can become
It,
your
it,
landlord, and
it,
like without you even knowing it.
it feels a lot closer to how Fisk is in the Marvel comics as the Kingpin. Honestly, that's kind of how Fisk operated as well. But which is funny because Cottonmouth took the advantage of Fisk being taken out in the Daredevil series, which is how he kind of gained to power, which I thought was a very nice sort of tip of the hat to continuity. Because come on, it's a nerd thing. We love whatever stuff gets connected. But
Well,
yeah,
that's what Marvel does great, with connecting all their TV shows, and even though the TV shows are somewhat connected to the movies, it's still their own thing and it's their own connection and continuation. And I think
oh
that's
yeah,
what works about their cinematic universe and
it's a big place.
yeah, like they found a way to separate them, but at the same time have them connected.
Everything happens. There are big things going on, and it's still a small part of a much bigger world. And I think that's part of the secret. Don't think too hard about how this connects to everything else.
Right.
Just have it be like, like it just sort of happens. Like, think about it. The way the Marvel movies are kind of connected is usually offhanded dialogue or like one or two like scenes that kind of show like, oh hey, it's the same neighborhood as this place, and then they let it go and they continue. They let the stories kind of be self-contained and just say like, oh hey, also, this sort of stuff holds up. I mean, then usually the Avengers movies kind of happen and the more recent Captain America. But the thing is, they earned that. You kind of get
They
to
work up
that.
to it.
Yeah, but going back quickly to Netflix, though, back to kind of us talking about Luke Cage. I said Daredevil, whoops. When it came to Luke Cage, there is something I did think was kind of a problem. A bit of a minor problem, just from what I've seen so far.
The editing.
The editing feels oddly.
It's disjointed.
It is very disjointed.
Yeah, when
I mean,
the editing is off, it shows big time.
yeah, there's like one episode where like Luke is like a bartender because some guy quit and he thought, hey, extra money. First of all, I love they kept this sort of blue collar, middle class, trying to make ends meet. Luke Cage, always fun to see, and he's talking with this girl, and there's the scene where they kind of sort of get intimate, and I felt like that was maybe a bit too long because it felt a weird odd that they dedicate that much time to that scene. It felt weird to have because you only have so much time in an episode to establish
Right. You
stuff.
see, I had kind of like the opposite of that. There was a couple scenes where it seemed like a scene wasn't quite finished, but but they ran out of time and they had to cut like a 30 second,
Somewhere.
yeah, like a 30-second thing out. Where it's like, well, that transaction looked kind of weird, or it obviously that person wasn't finished talking, or maybe they just didn't finish their line.
Yeah.
It's like some of it's a little choppy. Like like scenes from going from one scene to another sometimes feels off. It feels like there was something else that was supposed to be there, but it was cut out completely.
That's what really gets me. Also, I'm coming to get some flack for this, but I'm actually kind of, sort of, not really on the same page as Luke Cage with the reluctant hero angle. I think that's a problem with the pacing, because on the one hand, it makes sense because he just dealt with Kilgrave and Jessica Jones. What happened in the previous series, the Netflix series he was in. But at the same time, it felt like it should have taken that much of a sort of a push. However, what sells it for me though is the supporting cast. Pops, freaking
Oh man,
pops.
that guy.
Oh
Loved.
man.
Loved. It was just there was something about that character that felt real and down to earth. It's like
Oh
okay,
man. Oh
I
my.
you can literally find somebody like that. You can go out and
Just go
find
on the
someone
street.
who is like that.
Oh, just go on the street, go to this local barbershop. How's it going, man? Yeah, not too bad. And you can just like talk and just. It's like the uncle. It's like the uncle that's not you don't have that's related to you when you can just sort of shoot the breeze. It was
Yeah,
great
yeah.
stuff.
Cares about the neighborhood, cares about the community, about the people. And he'll watch after the young ones. Like, yeah, man, come on in. It's the safest,
Oh
probably the safest place you can have on these streets.
yeah.
And it was
Oh,
great.
dear me. Netflix, whenever it gets right, gets right. Now, yeah, but seriously, we're only maybe like 2 episodes in, 3 episodes into the series, and it's got some problems. It's got some odd pacing problems, but it seems to be going in it seems to be going in an interesting direction. It seems to be going in a pretty solid direction with how it's doing things, and also it's kind of topical, talking about racism and stuff that happens when it comes to neighborhoods and the like, which is actually kind of bold. And once again, it adds to the diversity and the variety that comes to the Marvel universe. It isn't just one particular type of person with one particular type of problem, after all.
Yeah, and I like to see Marvel do more of these with their TV shows. And I'm not really that excited for Iron Fist, but we can talk about
I,
that probably in another
I,
episode when.
I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for kung fu movies. I'll watch it.
Yeah, I mean the teaser that they shown at New York Comic Con. Not gonna lie, it looks kind of cool. But at the same time, it might be because I know nothing about the character.
Honestly, I don't know much else about him either. As far as I remember he learned the weaponized his chi from monks at a monastery who came back home, started fighting crime, and he teams up with Luke Cage and kind of makes like a heroes for hire mercenary business. And that's about all I know about him.
Hmm. Well, this show's gonna be the one that like makes people either an Iron Fist fan, just be like, yeah, he's just another Marvel
So,
character.
yeah.
Because I have not heard anybody really clamor for another Jessica Jones.
I would actually not mind a season 2, but let's wrap up the Defenders first.
Well, yeah. Is it just wait? Does Jessica Jones season 2 come out before Defenders?
I don't know. I know they said they're working on season 2. The problem is the iconic storyline that people know for Jessica Jones. They burned through all that in season 1. If they did do season 2, it had to be original material.
Well, I mean,
So
because I know they're
yeah, it's
doing season 2 of that. They're doing season 3 of
Daredevil.
Daredevil, and
That
they're
was confirmed.
doing and they're doing the Punisher TV show
Yeah,
now.
I'm actually kind of against Jon Bernthal's Punisher getting his own solo series. Weirdly enough.
Really?
This is going to be very contentious to people because it's going to sound like I'm one of those people that's like, oh, you like the silly, fantastic stuff. No, no, no. I used to be really into the dark, alternative side of superhero stuff as well. Jon Bernthal's Punisher was really great in season 2 of Daredevil because he was way too real. He came off way too much as that guy that would totally do something like this in real life. A guy that would just be mentally broken and go out and take the law into his own hands. Having said that, though, he worked best as a supporting character, and you kind of learned why he did what he did, and may not have agreed, but kind of knew, like, dear, I'll have to deal with you later, or have to deal with you in my own way. And there's a great sort of moral back and forth between him and Daredevil. I don't want to spend an entire season run with that character because it can very easily go to a too dark of a place, too much to a place. Because there is such a thing as things going too dark. there has to be some level of relatability or some level of hope or levity that grounds it into something that's human and actually kind of aspiring. If there isn't anything like that, it's just a slog of uncomfortable stuff. And part of the fun, what little fun there can be for the Punisher, is that he's a take no prisoners vigilante that lives in the Marvel universe. One of my favorite storylines involving the Punisher is he fought a bunch of D-list Avengers villains because he basically looted a bunch of weapon caches and started using off-brand versions of certain Avengers tech. Like he was shrinking with off-brand Ant-Man technology. He was using an off-brand version of a vibranium shield. He was using a replica of Hawkeye's bow and arrow, and he was just taking no prisoners, using a weird hodgepodge of different stuff. So him just being another guy that uses guns and deals with it, like maybe add some more fantastical elements, like him trying to figure out how to deal with metahumans would be kind of interesting. But even then, that's maybe like 2 or 3 episodes in a supporting role. I don't.
Metahumans?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, this ain't DC, son.
Metahumans, enhanced, special people, Novas, people who. I don't care.
Yeah,
okay,
this isn't Star Labs. You don't call it. Get out of here with that.
It's just my opinion. It's just my highly nerdy and kind of better than everybody else's opinion. Oh. Sorry, but there was something else as well you kind of brought up that you yourself have seen, Michael. Come on, out with it.
Oh, is that? Oh, when you were talking about how you watch Equestria Girls, Rainbow Rocks. Yeah, how would you go ahead and tell us about that?
Oh, sure. Sure, yeah, turn the blame on me, man.
No. But, it's no real secret that I'm actually a My Little Pony fan. Actually, the Friendship is Magic version. Never watched the older ones.
Oh my gosh, you're such a pretender brony. You have to watch season 2. It is so much better. Gen 2 is amazing.
I mean,
the toys were so legit too, man.
I wasn't part of that, but okay. I mean, if that was your deal, bro.
I'm sorry, guys. I can't talk smack either. I'm kind of one of those people as well. I also watch the show.
But yeah, so they have a new Equestria Girls movie out.
This would make number 4, I believe.
5.
What?
I'm pretty sure it's 5. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
Equestria Girls. There's
Rainbow Rocks.
Rainbow Rocks.
There was the Friendship Games, then there was this one.
Legends of Everfree.
Legends of Everfree.
Yeah, that's this one. That was the one that came out.
That's 4, man.
Oh, I'm sure there was a 5th one.
Can we not?
Oh, you know what this calls for?
We're not going to Wikipedia.
Wikipedia.
We're not going to Wikipedia. We're not going to IMDb.
Man, I could have sworn there was 5.
No, as far as I can tell, there were 4 because in my mind, here's how I remember the Equestria Girls movie. The first one, it exists. The second one, pretty good. The third one, pretty good. The third one also exists.
I mean, fair enough. Huh?
Yeah.
Let's see. Rainbow Rocks. Let's see. Equestria Girls. Yeah, no, it is number 4.
I was right. That's right. Pop the confetti and alert the serfs. My chariot awaits.
I guess. I guess I'm ahead of myself because of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic movie that comes out next year.
What? You gotta be kidding me.
No, man.
Okay, bit of a clarification. I've seen up to season 5. I watched bits and pieces of season 5. I have to catch up on that. And what I've heard, season 6 is interesting. So
it's okay. A couple episodes are actually pretty good. Most of the other ones, they exist.
I don't really hear about season 6 because I kind of heard the brony community kind of sort of imploded on itself with people kind of clamoring over each other with over analysis stuff.
Well, because the writing hasn't gone downhill. All right, I don't care what any of the other pony fans say. There's nothing wrong with it. You can tell that there's some repeats going on.
Yeah.
Like storyline wise, yeah, there's some repeats going on, but all in all, it's like there's only so much you can do, and that's why I like Equestria Girls, because you can tell that more creativity is going into those movies.
It's more condensed storytelling. I mean, the movies don't have to worry about season rots and repeating storylines. They can
Oh
just
yeah,
do whatever is interesting and just kind of keep it condensed and focused.
yeah, and it's great. I would say that Legend of Everfree really is the best Equestria Girls movie they have so far.
Blasphemy.
Oh no, it is because unlike Rainbow Rocks, your favorite movie, it actually
Don't
has.
talk smack about my...
Rainbow Rocks was okay. It was a big improvement over the first movie, but
I loved the sirens. Come on, those were awesome.
yeah, they were kind of wasted too.
I'm sorry. Anything that faces the orbital friendship canon dies. I thought we've already confirmed this.
Ugh. But Friendship Games was my favorite because it was actually fun compared to the first two. Like a lot better.
I would say fun, but it barely made any sense even by kid movie standards aimed at little girls for the purpose of selling toys.
Oh, they do a bunch of stuff together, but
Oh my gosh, and that was made it so painful. But please continue.
Legend of Everfree actually has strong continuation compared to the other three. Like it actually like they're showing more now. The powers that the girls have, they actually applied rules to it. Like for anybody who hasn't
Oh
seen,
my gosh, they now added rules? About
yeah,
that time?
yeah. For anybody who saw Friendship Games, the whole powers
The powers
happen
work, now they
randomly.
don't.
Yeah, the powers happen
The powers
randomly
work, now they
and
don't.
all
Now
this
they...
other stuff. Yeah,
Dear God.
it was kind of weird. Rainbow Rocks also had that problem.
No!
Yeah,
They were still learning. It was still formative. They still had
yeah.
Even they didn't really know what was going on, so there was some believability.
Yeah.
Third movie is like, okay, we have these powers. What do they do? I don't know. Throw a dart at the wall. It does that.
But,
it was so lazy.
yeah, but Everfree actually it has some character building in there. It has, I think it has like 2 or 3 songs in there. Like it actually has the least amount of songs, I think.
The only thing I've seen from Legends of Everfree is the new meme that's come out of Sunset Shimmer getting the power like mind read or whatever. She puts her hand on Pinkie Pie's forehead and she just has this like surreal imagery of like cakes and walking candy. It's like I wonder what's going on inside your head. That explains so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that.
And people, of course, have like re-edited that to have some other things going on in her head.
Yeah,
and
they're
all funny.
That's the thing about Everfree. It actually took the powers that these girls have now, and they added rules to them. They put it to where, okay, you got it. Forget about like trying to live normal lives, or whatever. And here you go. Here you go. Powers. There.
We are Sailor Moon. I mean, we are.
You're joking, but this movie.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not joking. That's a compliment.
Oh yeah. But compared to the other movies where it kept hinting at such a thing happening, this one goes full blown.
Okay.
Yeah, it finally dropped all context. Was like, you know what?
I'll have to pencil it in.
Oh yeah.
Dear me, I have way too much on. This is the problem here, folks. When we live in this sort of world, these first world problems, if you will, there's too much worth watching that's readily available.
A problem's a problem.
There's not enough hours in the day. Oh dear, whatever shall I do?
Yeah.
I have 3 of an anime to watch and 2 movies and a bunch of kid shows. I need to overanalyze too much because
no one needs to overanalyze. No one needs to.
Oh no! I'm being silly, man. Michael, I mean, come on.
Anybody who knows the fandom knows you're not joking.
Oh dear me! I've actually met a few people who get a little way too much into it. Like they apply color theory to everything. Like, oh my gosh, he's dark green. That means blank and blank and blank.
I actually know a couple artists who love the show because of the art style and.
No, I like the.
But I know.
I like the art
what you're
style.
Saying, and I also.
These people. They look way too much into them. Like, guys, even Freud said sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
I actually know a couple people who make analysis videos. Like I know them personally.
Oh dear.
And they're not as
nice
bad
people.
as you
I
might
hope.
think. They're actually
nice.
They're actually pretty swell people.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly perfectly fine. And analysis videos are fine.
It's supposed to
And
be fun. That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah. You know what? Let me put a blanket statement on this, ladies and gentlemen, viewers, listeners of the That Random Podcast show. Um, over analyzing stuff for some people, like going to critical analysis, for us, that is fun. That is actually entertaining to us to actually take something apart and figure out why it works, why it doesn't work. So that can only speak for myself, but that's kind of why I don't like whenever people keep saying, "Why can't you just shut your brain off and enjoy it?" I'm like, no, this is me enjoying it. I can't shut this off. Why would I want to shut this off? I like doing this.
Yeah, it's one of those every shot, every stroke, every edit has a reason kind of things to it.
Oh yeah.
And like when you start looking at it and breaking it down, you're like what we did with Luke Cage and this editing, or
Yeah.
how we did with the Power Rangers, and how
I
it
don't.
has a
Oh,
green stone. Maybe we're gonna see somebody come back as a Green Ranger.
yeah,
But
and I do mean it. And I do mean it when I mentioned that anecdote way at the very beginning, like an eternity ago, when it was just me and two friends that I know for years. We're just sitting down, and just talking, and then suddenly we look at a TV, and you would think in a comedy it would pan back over to us, and suddenly we'd all be wearing monocles and top hats and smoking pipes. Like, oh my gosh, the composition is so off. Oh, no, that actually happened,
huh,
and
I can't believe they used that sound mic.
ooh, ah, harumph, harumph. No.
Who's the engineer on this movie?
Oh, the cinematographer should be ashamed. That is clearly bad shot composition. Oh, yes, of course, yes. No, that didn't happen. That was a legitimate thing that happened, and we weren't being, these intellectual types. Frankly, I don't like that being an insult, especially in this day and age. You're an intellectual? No, wear that badge and walk around and stomp the morons where they stand. I'm sorry, but
How dare ye question my ability to overanalyze shots? Whether it's a cartoon or a live action movie.
it's official, everybody. You listen to this long enough, you're gonna grow a monocle.
And a mustache.
Keep it precious, ladies and gentlemen.
Classy
No,
mustache.
one of those fancy handlebar ones that twirl forever.
I want one.
But yes, Michael wants a handlebar mustache. Somebody Photoshop him a handlebar mustache. Make him happy. We'll be your friends for life.
I mean,
And
for like 3
the
minutes.
afterlife.
I'll be your friend for 3 minutes.
Ooh. Oh wait, no. This is we're trying to keep this relatively. Whoops.
Oh, wow.
But as for the mustache is fine. But the monocle is something special. Keep it in a jar. Keep it fed. It feeds off of scraps of the New Yorker. Trust me, it's worth the investment. Keep it there.
It'll be worth something one day.
Don't worry. No, it'll be better. Eventually it shall grow, and it shall expand, and it shall become the greatest thing ever in this world. A clockwork spider with 8 monocles. It multiclasses as a wizard, and it has additional
I don't think
limbs.
anybody's gonna want a monocle spider of any kind.
An 8 monocle clockwork spider with an intelligence score of 25. Do you know what you can do with that? You can unlock Eldritch secrets. You can.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm crossing the streams again, aren't I?
Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that spider.
I'm crossing the streams again, people.
You never cross streams.
Yeah, as fishermen will tell you. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It's just weird to watch.
No. Oh well, I think we covered all of our little check boxes today. Or tonight,
All of our
rather.
little check boxes of That Random Podcast show.
That means it is time for our stamp of approval of ending the show.
Of course. So, I'm Tyler Chancey. I do some blogging every now and then. You can check that out at cybertavern.blogspot.com. I'm also available to inundate you with the retweets of pseudo-political commentary and of developers I like, indie and otherwise. Hi, bub. You can follow me at Darth Rahu, Darth R-A-H-U, capital D, capital R, all one word. Michael.
Oh, is it my turn? Oh man, I thought you never finished plugging every little outlet you have.
Oh, we forgot. I also have a Tumblr, a Reddit,
There
a
you
Google
go.
Plus, a Google, a Tumblr, Reddit Plus. You can follow me on Tumblr at Digital Desperado. You can search me over there. And I was joking about Reddit. I don't think I'm ready to pull the trigger on that just yet. And I do also have a Google Plus thing. So check me out. Michael.
Google Plus thing. Oh man. Yeah.
It's a thing,
yeah,
you know. It's
Google
a thing.
Plus thing. Yeah. No, it's fine. I mean, it's called Google. I have a Google account. Google
No,
Plus.
I have a Google Plus thing. I need to add more words. I have the best words. I need to say more words. People think I have the best words. There's our commentary, ladies and gentlemen. Take that with you.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Zafmod, that's ZAFMOD, or at M_MOSLEY_JR. And I am also on YouTube. You can find me with my actual name, actually, with Michael Mosley. Is where we're going to have more of these podcasts now, because we're not going to do the hosting site that we planned on doing. We decided that wasn't going to work. So
We're swinging wild, folks.
Yeah, it wasn't going to work for us, and apparently not for any of you either, because you actually like the YouTube channels better. So we're going to stick with YouTube.
Oh, really? Do we have any metrics, or are we gonna keep that to ourselves, like greedy little sons of guns?
We're going to keep that to ourselves until we make some real numbers.
Oh yes, but yes, of course. To everybody who is listening to enjoy this, please, obligatory comment here: share, like, talk, discuss it with your friends, link it around. Even if you hate our commentary, please, leave a comment, leave your dissenting opinion. Good night, everybody.
Good night, folks.